I wish I'd known this sooner, but life has a way of hiding its sharpest truths in plain sight. Before I cracked open Freakonomics by Stephen D. Levitt and Stephen J. Dubner, I thought I had a grip on how the world worked. Choices, consequences, the usual. But then, one line hit me like a freight train. People respond to incentives, whether they're aware of it or not. That single idea ripped apart everything I believed about my own decisions, my failures, and the chaos I'd been drowning in for years. Let me take you back to when I was blindly chasing the wrong things, oblivious to the hidden forces steering my life off course. 3 years ago, I was 27, stuck in a dead-end job, and convinced I was just one big break away from making it. I'd stay up until 3 a.m. scrolling through social media, chasing likes, comparing my life to influencers who seemed to have it all: money, freedom, purpose. I was spending $200 a month on subscriptions, streaming services, gym memberships I never used, apps promising productivity hacks. My bank account was bleeding, my mental health was crumbling, and I felt like a hamster on a wheel, running nowhere fast. I didn't see it then, but I was trapped in a cycle of incentives I didn't even understand. Freakonomics calls this the hidden side of decision-making, how we think we're in control, but invisible forces like social pressure, instant gratification, or fear of missing out dictate our choices. Take my obsession with social media. I'd post every meal, every workout, every fleeting thought, thinking it was building my personal brand. But Freakonomics pointed out something brutal. The things we do to impress others are often the ones that cost us the most. That hit hard. I was pouring hours into curating a fake life online, not because I loved it, but because the algorithm rewarded me with dopamine hits, likes, comments, fleeting validation. Data backs this up. The average American spends 2.3 hours a day on social media, and for people my age, it's closer to 4. I was clocking 6, sometimes 8 hours. My life wasn't mine. It belonged to the apps. Then there was my job. I stayed in a soul-crushing role for 3 years because it was stable. I ignored the red flags: micromanaging boss, no growth, burnout, because the paycheck was a safety net. Freakonomics would have called this a classic case of misaligned incentives. The book says, when the costs of staying outweigh the benefits, people still cling to familiarity. That was me, too scared to quit, too comfortable to risk change. I remember one night, staring at my bank balance, $1,200 after rent and bills, realizing I was working 50 hours a week just to survive, not to live. I'd cry in my car during lunch breaks, wondering why I felt so empty. The turning point came when I borrowed Freakonomics from a friend. I wasn't expecting much, just another self-help book, I thought. But it wasn't. It was a mirror, showing me how my choices weren't really mine. The book's chapter on sumo wrestlers cheating to maintain their rankings made me rethink my own cheats. I wasn't rigging matches, but I was cheating myself, settling for a life that looked good on paper but felt like a lie. I'd been chasing incentives society fed me: a stable job, a perfect online image, a life that screamed success to everyone but me. That realization hurt, but it was the wake-up call I needed. I started questioning everything. Why was I spending $50 a month on a gym I hadn't stepped foot in? Why was I refreshing my inbox for job offers that never came? Freakonomics taught me to see the hidden costs: time, energy, self-worth. I wasn't just wasting money, I was wasting my 20s. The book didn't give me answers, but it gave me a lens. Every choice has a cost, and every incentive has a catch. I decided I was done being a puppet to algorithms and expectations. I wanted control, not just of my time or money, but of my entire life's direction. Reading Freakonomics didn't just wake me up. It gave me a blueprint to claw my way out of the mess I'd made. The book's core idea, that incentives drive everything, became my obsession. If I could understand what was pulling my strings, I could cut them and start pulling my own. So I got to work, tearing apart my habits, my choices, and the life I'd built on autopilot. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't instant, but I found a way to take back control. Here's exactly how I did it, step by step, and how you can too. First, I audited my life like a crime scene. Freakonomics talks about how data reveals truths we'd rather ignore, like how teachers sometimes cheat to boost test scores. I applied that logic to myself. I tracked every hour of my day for a week using a simple spreadsheet. The results were horrifying. 42 hours on my phone, 20 on Netflix, 10 on meaningless errands. I was giving 70 hours a week to distractions, while my dreams, writing a book, starting a side hustle, got scraps. Step 1 was clear. Know your numbers. If you don't measure where your time or money goes, you're flying blind. Grab a notebook or app and log every minute for a week. It'll hurt, but it's the truth you need. Next, I tackled the biggest time thief, social media. Freakonomics has this gut punch line. What you pay attention to grows, even if it's killing you. My Instagram addiction was killing my focus. So, I set hard limits. I downloaded an app blocker, Freedom specifically, and capped my social media at 1 hour a day. I also deleted apps from my phone, keeping them only on my laptop to make access harder. It felt like detox. The first week, I'd instinctively reach for my phone, only to realize Instagram was gone. But by week 2, I was reading books during lunch breaks instead of scrolling. My screen time dropped from 8 hours to 2, and I gained 42 hours a week to actually live. Then came money. I was bleeding cash on subscriptions and impulse buys, chasing the lifestyle I thought I needed. Freakonomics showed me how incentives trick us. Those free trials that auto-renew, the $5 coffees that add up to $150 a month. I canceled everything non-essential, Spotify Premium, unused gym memberships, random apps. I saved $180 a month instantly. Then I set a rule: no purchase over $20 without a 24-hour wait. That curbed my Amazon binges. I also started budgeting with a zero-sum method. Every dollar had a job, whether it was rent, savings, or a small fun fund. In 6 months, I saved $2,500, enough for a used laptop to start freelancing. The hardest part was my job. I hated it, but quitting felt reckless. Freakonomics helped here too. The cost of inaction is often higher than the risk of action. Staying meant more burnout, more years lost. So I made a plan. I spent evenings learning digital marketing on free platforms like Coursera. I took small freelance gigs, $50 here, $100 there, building a portfolio. It took 9 months, but I landed a remote job paying 20% more than my old one. The day I quit, I cried, not from fear, but from relief. I wasn't rich, but I was free. The benefits were undeniable. By cutting distractions, I read 15 books last year, including Freakonomics, which rewired my brain. I launched a blog that now earns $1,000 a month in ad revenue. My mental health improved. I went from daily anxiety to feeling in control. My relationships got better too. I was present, not glued to a screen. I'm not saying it was easy. There were nights I doubted myself, days I slipped back into old habits. But every step forward proved I could rewrite my story. You can too. Start small, track your time, cut the noise, and chase incentives that serve you, not trap you. I used to think life would just figure itself out, that if I kept scrolling, swiping, and coasting, I'd stumble into the version of myself I wanted to be. But Freakonomics showed me that's a lie. Nothing changes unless you make it change. That line, Incentives are the cornerstone of modern life isn't just a catchy quote. It's a call to wake up and take the wheel. I stopped letting algorithms, dead-end jobs, and shiny distractions own me, and now I'm living proof you can rewrite your story. But here's the thing. Knowing isn't enough. You have to act, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Let me show you how to start, and why you can't afford to wait. The world is rigged to keep you distracted. Every app, every ad, every deal is an incentive designed to steal your time, your money, your life. I wasted years chasing those traps, but you don't have to. Start with one move. Pick one thing Freakonomics exposed, whether it's the hidden cost of your Netflix binge or the job you're too scared to leave, and face it. Grab a pen, write down what's draining you most. Is it the 5 hours a day on TikTok? The $100 you drop on takeout every week? The job that makes you dread Mondays? Be honest. That's your starting line. Now, take one action from my playbook. Download an app blocker and cut your screen time by half. Cancel one subscription you don't need. Yes, even that cheap $9.99 one. Sign up for a free course online tonight. Something that moves you closer to a skill, a side hustle, a dream. Don't overthink it. Freakonomics taught me that small choices compound. My first freelance gig was $30 for a 500-word article. It felt like nothing, but it led to $5,000 in projects last year. One step today can change your life in a year, but you have to take it. Why now? Because time is the one thing you can't get back. Freakonomics says the cost of waiting is often invisible, but it's the most expensive price you'll pay. Every day you stay stuck, you're not just losing hours, you're losing who you could become. I was 27 when I started changing. At 30, I'm freelancing, traveling, and writing a book I used to only dream about. If I'd waited, I'd still be crying in my car, scrolling through someone else's highlight reel. You're watching this video for a reason. You feel it too. The itch that something's off, that you're meant for more. Don't let that feeling slip away. Here's your challenge. Try one thing I've shared for 1 week. Track your time, ditch one distraction, or take one step toward a goal. Then come back here and tell me in the comments what you did. How many hours are you spending on your phone right now? What's the one thing you know is holding you back? Share it below. I read every comment and I want to hear your story. If this video hit you, smash that subscribe button. I'm dropping videos every week to help you see the hidden side of your choices and build a life you're obsessed with. Don't just watch, act. The only thing stopping you is you.